What up, YouTube? You already know. Big Lou tapping back in, but what it do with Big Lou and FZR2, baby. And if it's the first time you're coming to the channel, it'd be highly appreciated if you sub, like, and share the channel with your family, friends, folks, peoples, gente, camaradas, comrades, associates, asocios, buddies, pals, amigos, and all that. And again, feel free to comment. I respond back to all the comments. Let's get that algorithm going. You feel me? Excuse me, got a little runny nose. But uh, this little video right here, as you can tell from that thumbnail, we're still on the UFC tip. Ex-middleweight UFC champion Israel, Izzy, aka Style Bender, was beat once again by Alex Pereira, however you want to say it, English, Portuguese. The man in only his fourth UFC fight. I don't know if it's fourth UFC fight or fourth MMA fight, but I know his record is 7 or actually now 8-1. So I want to say his fourth UFC fight because I know he fought Strickland and I know he beat that other guy with that knee, and now Izzy. So that's 3. So I'm pretty sure it's his fourth UFC fight. Anyhow, Potan, his nickname is Potan, from Brazil, un brasileño. He he beat. Actually, Izzy had it in control the whole fight. It's one of them things, just like with Kamaru Usman. You're in control four rounds plus, and then all it takes is boom, boom, boom. And the case with Usman, obviously everybody knows he faked down. Usman kind of went down the block, and that's when the leg kick came up, cracked him, knocked him out. In this case, it looked like in the 5th round, like Izzy was going for like a leg check, and Pereira blocked it. And I'm not sure when it happened, but Izzy was talking about how he hit some type of nerve. I forgot what the name of that nerve is, and I'm pretty sure it happened earlier in the fight. And so when he checked it, it just hit that nerve and he lost control, and that's when he fell down and he did that back roll. So I watched him today on on Hawani. He came on with Hawani, and Hawani, he's a reporter, and it's his job to ask questions, but he sometimes he throws little bullshit low blows in there that he don't. I think he knows, man. I just think he whatever. But he was asking Izzy. Izzy was telling him about what happened, how he lost his like his legs were like noodles. He said, and what he was saying too about, and Hawani said that he felt like it was premature stop, and I feel the same way because I believe that that ref should have let. I'm not complaining about what happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like a big Izzy. I'm not really like all that with Izzy. The UFC is pretty new to me. Besides the old heads, the Nick guys that been fighting for a while, most of them are going out now, retiring. They're just too old. You know what I'm saying? This is a young man's sport. But anyways, I got that notion. I feel strongly that when the champion is the champion, he needs to either be knocked the fuck out, like in the movie Friday, you got knocked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Or just made look, just basically be in boxing. It would be a clinic, a boxing clinic, where there's nothing you can do. There's no adjustments you can make. The guy's still whipping that ass. You feel me? But because we seen Izzy rock the fuck out of him in the first round. Now, if he would have had 3-4 seconds, he would have took him out, right? I mean, even Pereira even said that he even admitted that he was very hurt. He was very hurt in that first round. Luckily, he got saved by the bell. And then a lot of the fight, Izzy was taking them. They were on the ground. You know what I'm saying? So I think next time, because what happened with this one is that Pereira's corner told him, "Look, man, you need to start letting them hands go. You will be champion in 5 minutes if you fucking let your hands go. You are down. The only way you're going to win this fight if you knock him out." And that's the truth. He was down in some people's cards. He was down going in the 5th round. He was down 4-0. and other people's it was 3-1. And even if he won that round, then it would have been a split decision, 3 rounds to 2. Adesanya, he would have retained the title. So when you got that kind of power like Pereira has in those hands, especially that left hook, he's already proved already before with Adesanya, he laid him out right before when they were kickboxing. So he was going out there on a mission, you know what I'm saying? But Adesanya said he was already messed up from the leg kick when it hit that nerve or whatever. So when he checked him on that leg kick, he fell down. He flipped backwards. He explained everything, why he did all that and everything. And then too, why I was going ahead and going along with what Hawani said about the premature stoppage, because he was still on his feet. And even though, he was still moving, and you can tell though why he was looking when his head was down that, he was still, I think at least it could have been before it was stopped, a couple clean more, 2, 3 more clean punches on Paredes' side, before he stopped that, because he could have took him down. He could, who knows, you know what I mean? And plus, he was still on his feet. And even when the fight was stopped, it wasn't like he was all wobbling. He said immediately, he told the ref, I'm good. I was good. But I'll tell you this man came out of this big loss, and he's very humble about it. He's not complaining. Matter of fact, on the contrary, he's talking about how blessed he is. You know what I mean? And he said it straight up. The dude had bragging rights. He said that from the beginning. He said, damn, look at that. It happened almost exactly the same way it happened in the kickboxing fight. You know what I mean? Adesanya is not talking shit. Now, this is the thing. If they don't fight right away, rematch, and they, go on to fight other people, I can see if he fights a wrestler, I can see Pereira losing. You know what I'm saying? I can see him losing. Now, like I said, the UFC is still kind of new to me as far as these fighters, Whitaker and Costa and Vittori and all them guys, Marvin Vittori. I know Paulo Costa likes to get in there and fight. You know what I'm saying? Straight up from the shoulders, chunking them. And Whitaker seems like he does a little bit of everything. He can get in there and sling them too. So what I'm wondering is if any of those guys between those three I just named are wrestlers, if they can wrestle. Because if they can, what's the name's going to be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And I could see them fighting Adesanya and Pereira fighting again, rematch with no belt this time. You know what I mean? Because Pereira lost. Nah, I'm just saying. Keep this in mind too, people's. Pereira only has 8 fights in the UFC, right? All he can do is get better on takedowns, on defending the takedowns, on defending wrestling, on wrestling. We already know he can kick and punch like a motherfucker, right? But he can only get better. He can't get worse, right? He can't get worse. I mean, so he's gonna be a wrecking, he's gonna be a juggernaut. Put it that way. This dude is powerful. He's tall and lanky. He's got long legs. He's got long fucking arms. And he's 6'4". You know what I'm saying? And the way he trains, he does a lot of bow and arrow shit, and I think that all comes into play with being a warrior. You know what I'm saying? He originally, the story I read about him was he had some people, because Brazil, I don't know if people know, but Brazil has a big indigenous population, and he had a friend of his that was indigenous people. He had strong indigenous blood, and if people don't know what indigenous means, that means the native folks from that land before the Spaniards came and any other conquistadors came through there. In Brazil's case, in Portugal, right? Portuguese came over there and took control. That's why Brazilians speak Portuguese. So, anyways, he looked in. He read. He learned more about the indigenous people of Brazil, and then when he did some more diving in his own family, he found out that he had strong indigenous blood and ties. So he started taking up some of the ancient I don't know if you want to call it rituals, but some of their, like the bow and arrow and stuff like that. That was part of their game, part of the hunting and all that. So, anyways, Adesanya's an African Nigerian warrior, and this dude is a Brazilian warrior. You know what I'm saying? Indigenous peoples, both sides. It's gonna be war. They're gonna go at it again. Izzy was saying that they don't like each other, and it's not some. It's that he said they just don't jive. You know what I'm saying? Their energies are different. He didn't talk shit about the guy. I think like I said, Izzy rocked him in that first round, really good, and he had control of the fight. You know what I'm saying? So if he can figure out something in that 5th round to come out and I think that he needs to wear him down. throughout the fight, and take them to the ground and just wear them out and look for some openings. Take advantage of the openings and try to get them to tap. And then if it gets to that point where it goes to the 5th round, he needs to figure out something so that Pereira don't have all these clean shots just to knock his block off. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's interesting. Robert Whitaker's going to be fighting Paulo Costa. I don't know if it's 282 or 283, but it's one of these next couple ones. That's going to be interesting how they play after this fight, where they rank. Again, you got Marvin Vettori, and then I'm not sure who else. Oh, Chimaev is talking big shit. Now, with Chimaev, I don't think... Look, Gilbert Burns rocked the fuck out Chimaev, right? And this was at welterweight, 170. Don't get me wrong. Chimaev's a tough, mean motherfucker. No doubt about it. But the fact that little Gilbert Burns was able to drop him and rock him and shit, I don't think he has a chance against Pereira's fucking power. Now, if Chimaev likes to take it to the ground, like I was just saying, then that's different. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens there. But as far as I'm concerned, it's basically those 5 guys. The champ, the ex-champ, Robert Whitaker, also ex-champ, Paulo Costa, and Marvin Vettori. I could be missing somebody. If I am missing anybody from the middleweight division of UFC, go ahead and put it in the comment section and bring me up to speed, because I'm not aware. I know Cannonier. I don't know where he's, I know he's broke, so he's looking to fight. He is a tough son of a gun, so, he might get up in there. I don't really know who else I can think of. Everybody else is retired or too old to fight these guys. So, yeah, let me know in the comment section. Also, I guess Izzy was hanging out in New York. They rented an Airbnb, and they just were hanging out in New York. He did the thing, like I said, with Hawani this morning, sometime today, and then he got, on the way out at the airport, he gets busted with some brass knuckles. You know what I'm saying? So, it was said something about a fan gave it to him and something, but supposedly he already took care of it in court already. That's kind of news to me how fast that shit works. And then also everybody from that card pretty much was indefinite suspension due to the violence of the card. What I mean is, like, these guys were really getting it. So, like, Dustin Poirier and Chandler, they got mandatory. This is by New York Athletic Commission. Automatic, like, let me see. I'll tell you guys right here. Okay. Alex Pereira suspended indefinitely, 30 days, mandatory rest. Israel Asanya, 60 days, mandatory rest. Zhang, 7 days, and also Esparza, 7 days. Dustin Poirier, 30 days, mandatory rest, and Chandler, 60 days, mandatory rest. Gutierrez, 7 days, mandatory rest. Frankie Edgar, 90 days, mandatory rest. Dan Hooker, 30 days. Claudio Puellas, 30 days. And then the rest, 30 days. Loser, 45 days. Reyes, 90 days. So it seems that, guys are getting, the ones that got beat or knocked out, they have to serve longer. So, I mean, that's not going to interrupt nothing. I mean, I know they can't fight. They can't get in the octagon and fight, but I don't know if that pertains to them actually getting in the gym and doing training camp. I'm not sure how that works, but anybody's going to take a 30 days, 60 days off after just fighting, especially some of these guys got beat up pretty good, like Chandler. He was marked up, and these other guys that got knocked out. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, it's Big Lou going to go ahead and tap on out and step on back and close this out. This is just a little something about the aftermath of the 281, UFC 281. Oh, also, Pereira, upon his return to Brazil, he bought himself a badass, it's a white, I think it's a Ferrari or a Bugatti. I don't know. It's something like that. It's a badass car, though. He spent about $250,000 on that car, unless he got hooked up through somebody. I don't know. But with that being said, UFC 281 reactions, aftermath, yep. And again, first time you come to the channel, highly appreciated if you sub, liked, and shared the channel, and leave a comment. Also, remember, guys, I asked if there's anybody from the middleweight division from the UFC that I left out. besides those, the ex-champ, uh, the ex-champ Whitaker, Paulo Costa, and Marvin Vittori, and then Khamzat Chimaev. Um, those only, and Khamzat is like welterweight, middleweight. You know what I'm saying? But if there's anybody I missed out, let me know in the comment section that they're actually legit middleweight from the UFC, and I can look them up and see what I think about where they stand and this and that. Right? So with that being said, again, your boy Big Lou is gonna tap on out with what it do with Big Lou, NFZR2. Already know, people's gone.